Over the years, I have played all sorts of ROM hacks of all kinds of games. I played Mario 64 ROM hacks, I played Mario World ROM hacks, GoldenEye ROM hacks, Banjo-Kazooie ROM hacks, Ocarina of Time ROM hacks, I played Diddy Kong Racing ROM hacks, I played Mario Kart 64 ROM hacks, I even played Kirby 64 ROM hacks. I like those. They should make more of those. But there's one game that I, and from what I'm to understand, everybody else have never seen a ROM hack of before. A game that might seem like a no-brainer to some, and that would be Donkey Kong 64. Now, among my favorite 3D platformers, DK64 has always been on my top 15 at least, even though I have always been acutely aware of its many flaws. I am always entertained by the game's ridiculous scale. This is a Banjo-Kazooie style collectathon, except multiplied by 3 billion%. The levels are way bigger. There's a lot more detail, and the graphics are more impressive. Like, in my book, it's good enough to be an unofficial Banjo-Kazooie game. I mean, it's still the worst of the Banjo trilogy, if you will, but every time I play through it, I enjoy it a lot. Except for the times where I don't. So, because I love this game so much, I decided on a whim to hop on Google and type Donkey Kong 64 ROM hacks, and I came across this Snooplax video where he plays through this hack called Donkey Kong 64 Conquest mode. After watching the video for a bit, I was like, alright. I don't know what the hell this is, but I gotta play it. Donkey Kong 64 Conquest is a phenomenal ROM hack of Donkey Kong 64, mostly because of what it represents. The Donkey Kong 64 ROM hacking scene is basically non-existent from what I can tell. Nobody is making ROM hacks of this game, so for any ROM hack of this game to exist is kind of a big deal because it represents potential and opportunity and possibility. It's not only symbolic of some very cool things that might be on the horizon, but it's also proof of concept. It turns Donkey Kong 64 ROM hacks into a tangible thing, which will hopefully one day culminate into something substantial. Now, before I talk about my actual experience with the game itself, I feel obligated to tell you that you should probably play this game on a Nintendo 64 using an EverDrive or something similar if you have that option, since it is compatible with real hardware. From what I can tell, it's a lot more stable and reliable on there. You can play it on an emulator, but I cannot recommend you do that if you have the option to play on an EverDrive. I played this on an emulator and this shit was like barely functional to a nearly debilitating degree. If you're wondering why the aspect ratio is different than usual, I couldn't even get this game running on Project 64 2.3 with the fancy new graphics plugins, so I had to fall back on old reliable 1.6. The frame rate did weird things, the camera was all fucked up and was stuck on this infinite loop of constantly recentering itself behind you, which makes the game an extremely profound pain in the dick hole. I should probably note that vanilla Donkey Kong has never worked extremely well on emulators to begin with, so I don't blame the person who made the hack at all. But if you are using an emulator, remember that save states are an option and I will not shame you for using them. Donkey Kong 64 Conquest is a ROM hack that adds 5 new levels to Donkey Kong 64. Well, they take the base of levels that were already in the game, but they add a bunch of new things to them to keep them fresh. Each character gets their own level, complete with 25 colored bananas, 1 golden banana, and a banana token. Although brand new levels would be cool, the very fact that levels can be modified as much as they are is still very impressive, and it almost does feel like a different game. Only problem, it's hard as shit. This is like a borderline Kaizo hack that expects you to use speedrunner tier metagame stuff to surpass its many challenges. I had to learn how to do a moon kick, which, of course, as everybody knows, is a thing you can do in Donkey Kong 64, where if you jump on an incline and do the aerial smash move right before touching the ground and then immediately do the kick, you can kick really high like you're on the moon. This footage you're seeing right here, it took me 68 years to pull that shit off. Donkey Kong 64 was already not quite as tight or polished as its contemporaries with respect to platforming challenges and controls, but when you combine that with the emulator bugs, it kinda hurts. Again, I don't blame the creator for this as much as the emulator, but as someone who's taken it upon himself to discuss the game, I feel a responsibility to warn you in any case. Although it is a little frustrating to play, none of this invalidates what this hack represents and accomplished. I am very happy that this thing exists, and I hope that the future of Donkey Kong hacking is bright and beautiful. But that's gonna be it for today. Remember to tune in for our next game tomorrow. I won't give it away as usual, but it's very, golden.